तो जॉइन करू का नहीं? ना અને લિંક પેલી જોઈને જે સેકન્ડ લિંક પેલી સ્પેસિફિક જે છે નામથી આવેલી છે ડોન્ટ શેર વિથ એનીવન એ લિંક પેલી નોર્મલ લિંકથી નહીં. તો સંજય રાજની છે લક્ષ્મીભાઈ છે બરાબર.
सासवत साहब आजकल अहमदाबाद में है आप?
Yes, sir. I'm in SEPT only.
I know.
No, it's a fag end of the semester, so we are all here actually.
Okay. No, once you have get some time, जरा phone कर देना, बात करते हैं.
Bilkul, bilkul. I'll call you.
Yeah.
12 o'clock is okay. 12 o'clock at night is okay.
Some people have joined.
Chetan, there's a light on your very odd. There's a light on your face.
I want to do something about it.
That's better.
Okay, okay.
Oh, I also realized that I have to do my lighting.
That's fine. Rajmata is there. She's joining on her laptop. I think some technical glitch was there.
No issue. No issue. We'll wait for her. No issue.
She's there. But
No issue. Well, one of the other advantages of this webinar is this. That, earlier it didn't matter, I think, whether if someone came late. Now what happens is because you fix up a meeting at 5 o'clock, at 5 o'clock and 1 minute, people start ringing you. Where are you? When are you joining?
Yes. That's true. That's true. Otherwise, if you have to go from one end of the town to the other, you have to go to a meeting.
Yeah.
All chances that you'll be half an hour late.
Yeah.
Or 15 minutes late. You can't blame anyone.
Yeah.
But this is something good. Chetan, Sanket is asking some questions. Sanskriti is asking some questions. Sanskriti should be belonging on this platform.
Hey, Santosh, thank you very much.
Sanskriti has joined.
Hello, to join Kela?
Sanskriti ji, have you joined?
अच्छा म्यूट है सिर्फ तो अनम्यूट कर नहीं होस्ट नहीं सगळ्यांनी ओके ऑन ना बर
मने
अरे यार नहीं तो दूसरा आला असेल ना यू मस्ट बी हॅव्हिंग दी अदर तिथं तेच म्यूटच आहे सगळ्यांसाठी यू आर नॉट ऑन दिस हो तर दुसरा एक ईमेल आला असेल पहा देयर इज अनदर लिंक स्पेसिफिक लिंक आज पण रिमाइंडर आलाय पहा 50 minutes ago or 1 hour ago. There is another link specifically for the faculty members. आता आली. Yes, now you are there. Now you are there, but you are muted. You can unmute yourself. Sanskriti, you can unmute yourself. You are now visible on the screen. Unmute kar. Yes, I can hear you. Yes. ते तर नाही ऑन द स्क्रीन नाही. No, on the screen you can't hear. You are muted. इथे साइन दाखवते. You unmute. तुझ्या वरती जा आणि unmute कर. और खालती असेल तर नाही केलेलं नाही. पाहतो. Chetan, who is administering this? Can I just check up whether Sanskriti has been muted from?
It's
Yes, sir.
Rajmata.
I have promoted her to be a panelist. She
Correct,
can
yes, yes.
unmute herself.
So she can unmute herself. No, yes. No, you can unmute yourself. The admin says. दिसतंय ऑडिओचं बटन आणि ते व्हिडिओ करता येईल का? व्हिडिओ पण ट्राय करून का?
પેલા હું કરી રહ્યો છું એને બોલાવો.
परत कर. हा परत कर आणि याच ह्याच्यावर कर. नाहीतर केलं तरी द ऍडमिन विल गिव्ह यू द. राजमाता इज देअर.
You are muted.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
Rajmata ji is muted, I think.
हेलो. હા રાજમાતા મ્યુટેડ છે. જો અવાજ નથી આવતો. દેખાય છે ખરા?
I'm not able to see Rajmata ji.
No, she's not muted, sir. The mute sign is not there, but some audio problem. Audio
Because
connected.
she has connected.
હવે unmute કરાઈ દે એમને.
Now she needs to unmute.
Unmute કર. Unmute કરાઈ દે. નથી unmute હજુ મ્યુટ પર જ છે. પેલા આઇકન જોઈ.
Say hello.
Yes, now it is.
Hello.
Hello,
Yes,
yes,
we
now
can
we
see
can hear
you.
you.
Yes, we can
Good
see
evening,
good
Rajmata ji.
Good evening.
Namaskar.
Welcome,
Okay.
welcome, Rajmata
Thank
ji.
you.
Welcome.
Sorry for the delay.
No.
Okay.
Nothing. Thank you very much for coming, Rajmata ji. And let me introduce you informally. I'm Birwa's father, Birwa Qureshi's
Okay.
father.
Okay. All right. Oh, I see. Well,
So-
nice for catching up with you.
Right.
And,
Last time when you did a 2-day event, I was there for 2 days, and we also met for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah. Chitrakshi, are we ready to start now?
Yes, sir.
You say okay, then I'll start. Huh?
Yes, sir. You can start.
Okay, thank you very much, Chitrakshi. I think friends and colleagues, welcome to 124th episode of the webinar series on rethinking city. Today's webinar focuses on environmental challenges and opportunities of Vadodara urban region. Please listen carefully. It's not only Vadodara city, it's the Vadodara urban region. And to talk about it, we have an eminent panel of experts and specialists who know the city for long. We're also fortunate in having the NGO So Clean as a co-host, and I'm delighted to tell you that Rajmata Shubhanginiraje Gaekwad ji president of So Clean herself, is present among us to inspire us and guide us. I have no adequate words to thank my friend, Professor Chetan Vaidya, without whose help and guidance this event would not have been possible. This is, as I said, our 124th webinar, and I must tell you that I've never come across a co-host who has done so much hard work to put the event together. So thank you, Rajmata ji, and thank you, Chetan Bhai. Also, my grateful thanks to other members of the distinguished panel, including Dr. Sanskriti Mujumdar, Professor Saswat Bandopadhyay, Shri Santosh Tiwari ji, Shri Narendra Kabra ji, Srimati Kavitha ji, and Dr. Sanjay Pandit. Thank you very much for making time and being available. Let me tell you that this webinar forms a part of a new sub-series called Cities of Gujarat, under which we are doing 8 webinars discussing the development challenges of Gujarat's urbanization. We are also planning 4-part webinar series on cities of Maharashtra, covering development challenges of Pune, Nagpur, Nasik, and Kolhapur. This webinar series is appropriately called Rethinking City, and is rolling out its 124th episode today. As many of you know, we have had over 500 experts, professionals, specialists, community groups, and concerned citizens from all over the world presenting their views, perspectives, and solutions on something like 30 to 40 important urban themes such as urban governance, finance, mobility, climate change, infrastructure, slums, housing, a large number of issues that we've been discussing for the last 3 years. Let me also use this opportunity to share a good news that we are unfolding 20 new webinars in the coming few months. That includes a series of 6 webinars on the very special slum improvement project in Orissa. What is happening there in big cities and small towns of Orissa has such potential for adoption and replication in other cities in the country that we have named the series Slums Are Solvable. The second set of 5 webinars are with CityNet, an association of Asian cities with some 150 members. This webinar series will focus on the climate change and share what big cities of Asia, such as Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, Seoul, Yokohama, and Kathmandu are doing to address the formidable climate challenge they are faced with. And we hope to learn on the climate change phenomenon from this webinar series. Now that is what is happening now. Let me take 1-2 more minutes and tell you why we are doing this webinars. What is the purpose? What are we seeking to achieve? And this particular set of questions, I have 5 quick answers. First, that despite being engines of growth and centers of culture, technology, knowledge, and global attention and investment, our cities are not in pink of health. They are not in a healthy condition. Be that small city or big city, be that industrial or commercial cities, be that district town or state capital. And the sector may be environment or infrastructure or governance or planning or some whatever. Our cities are saddled with major challenges. This is the first consideration in conceiving this webinar series, that our cities are not in pink of health. The second one is this, that not only are our cities problematic, but the way they are growing and developing, they do not look like meeting the challenge of unprecedented urbanization India is witnessing. It neither looks like providing safe and healthy quality of living to 870 million people who will be there in our cities in 25 more years, almost double of the urban population in 25 years. And it doesn't look like delivering 7 to 8% growth, economic growth. This country expects to get rid of its poverty and emerge as an economic superpower. The second important reason is this, that not only they are problematic, they do not look like delivering either on quality of life or on economic growth. That's the second reason. The third reason is the government effort alone is not adequate to ensure healthy, livable, productive, inclusive, and sustainable cities. Government alone just cannot do it. The fourth consideration that we have is this: the wider society, the human capital outside the government system has the required skills, knowledge, experience, and even motivation to contribute meaningfully in search for alternative approaches and new solutions. What I'm saying is that we believe there is a large number of people and abilities and skills outside the system. We need to kind of bring that in. And the fifth reason we are talking about this webinar series is the time is fast running out so far we are concerned. We need better approaches and innovative solutions early, as every passing day is causing much harm to the planet, to the nature, to environment, and to the people. It is in this context this webinar series has been conceived. It's a part of a wider national societal effort aimed to bring in not only fresh ideas and new perspectives, but also new voices and a new collectivism, new togetherness, new partnership, and new energy in articulating the need for and ways to rethinking our cities, both redefining the urban challenge and finding more effective ways to addressing it. So this entire series is an effort to set up a wider societal partnership to deal with very complex urban challenge that we have. So it is that long background that I'm providing, and I've done this webinar after a webinar because we do not want to miss out wood for the tree. It's very important that we understand why we are doing this. Having said this, and before I hand over managing of this webinar, this episode to Dr. Chetan Vaidya, let me briefly introduce him. Professor Chetan Vaidya is an architect planner with over 30 years of experience in the urban planning and development sector. He served as the Director of School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi from 2012 to 2017, and was the Director of the National Institute of Urban Affairs from 2008 to 2012, which really means that Chetan Bhai has occupied some very important posts in the context of urbanization in this country. Professor Vaidya has contributed significantly to planning education in India. He was appointed as the chairman of Planning Education Board by the All India Council for Technical Education, AICTE. Internationally, he was nominated as the Melbourne Asia Visiting Fellow by the University of Melbourne for the year 2014-2015. As I said, we have a very distinguished panel, including Rajmata ji, and we look forward to hearing them in terms of how they see the environmental challenges of Baroda region and what are they doing to deal with it. So thank you very much to everyone for making time, and thank you very much, Professor Chetan Vaidya, to help us organize this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirti, for those kind words. We know each other for more than 4 decades, so I
Yes.
can see that friendship of a long period and trust is reflected in those kind words. I would now like to invite Rajmata ji for her welcome address. As we know, she is president of SOCLI NGO, which is co-hosting this webinar. She is also chancellor of MS University of Baroda. She has been working with the issues of downtrodden and other issues for a very long time in Baroda and is associated with number of organizations. But most importantly, she has been providing guidance for SOCLIN on environmental issues. And she's widely traveled and is aware of issues which are important for the city. With this brief background, I invite Rajmata ji to give her welcome address.
Namaskar and good evening to all present for the webinar. I'm happy for this opportunity to be a participant in this very important webinar, which is on environmental challenges and opportunities of especially of Vadodara urban region. As you are all aware, the Society for Clean Environment is a voluntary organization and non-profit organization committed to creating cleaner, greener and pollution-free environment in and around Baroda region. We have been involved in this work for last 40 years. We have been involved in tackling pollution at all levels, whether it was air, water, noise, as well as dealing with waste management, etc. In short, we were trying to help the environment of Baroda in every sense of the way. However, Vadodara, the cultural and the educational capital of Gujarat, as it was always known, was one of the best planned cities of Gujarat, is now facing a number of environmental issues such as fluvial floods, waterlogging, air pollution, extreme heat, inadequate water supply and sanitation, and rapid loss of green spaces. Due to inadequate urban planning, in future, environment issues will be more crucial aspect for any development strategy for the urban areas. In view of various environmental challenges faced by Vadodara region, INHAF and SOCLIN have planned to organize this webinar together. Focus of the event will be to propose possible solutions to the issues, challenges, and way forward for effective implementation of the proposals and not on identifying problems alone. INHAF and SoClean have brought together a diversified group of experts who have experience and knowledge of working on environmental issues, particularly in Vadodara region, as well as at national and international level. I'm sure the deliberation of the webinar will be useful to the citizens as well as to the experts working on various issues of the urban region. I'm extremely thankful to Shri Kirti Shah, President of INHAF and the Habitat Forum, for reaching out to me and to our organization and inviting SoClean to co-host the webinar together. My best wishes to both the INHAF and Society for Clean Environment for our shared vision to improve our urban landscape for the betterment of humanity and nature. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Rajmata ji. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rajmata ji. It's very inspiring, and we really believe that your words will be helpful not only for webinar but of future action for Baroda city, particularly on the environment issues.
Thank you.
With this inspiring guidance by Rajmata ji, we will have our webinar program. We'll start to initiate our webinar program. We have 5 speakers. The first speaker is going to identify the issues on environment and then give solutions. The second speaker is going to talk about urban green financing. With Baroda has been doing a lot of work in that area on urban green financing. Then we have somebody who will talk about best practices in urban environmental issues. Then the next speaker will talk specifically on air pollution in urban areas. And finally, we have been very fortunate to get one speaker who has actually implemented various environmental improvement programs at a housing society level, and he will be the final speaker. Then I'm going to ask one question to each of the speakers on behalf of all of you, and then our vice president will identify what are the lessons learned, and then we'll make it open question and answer. That is a broad theme. Now I invite Sanskriti Mujumdar, who is director of Institute of Climate Change Research, MS University of Baroda. She has done her PhD from MS University in Civil Engineering. She has been teaching here for more than 20 years, and she has won number of coveted awards. I cannot even list them, though I know about them. In addition, she has been part of number of teams who have worked on environment and climate issues of Baroda city and many other cities in India. I always say that she is fountainhead of climate change for Baroda city. With this brief introduction, I invite Sanskriti ji to make her presentation on environmental issues and solutions for them. Yes, madam.
Yeah, thank you, Chetan ji, for that very flattering introduction. Before I begin, I'll just check if I am able to share my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see my screen?
It is coming. Yeah, now we can see.
Yeah, and I am clearly audible, right?
Yes.
Okay. Before I begin, I have to thank Habitat Forum and SoClean for giving me this platform for a very important subject, which is, I can say, the burning subject for the city of Vadodara. And I have been assigned the task of highlighting some of the environmental issues and what can be the probable solutions for the city of Vadodara. So without wasting much time, I'll quickly first introduce Vadodara, because I understand that there will be participants from outside Vadodara as well. So just to give you a background about the city of Vadodara, most of you would be in Gujarat, so you would know that it is the 3rd largest city and southwest monsoon brings most of the rain, and the average annual rainfall is around 900 mm. Though in the last couple of years, we have been experiencing extensive floods as well. What is more important is I would like to show that these are the master development plans which Vadodara Urban Development Authority had proposed, and the last one was proposed in the year 2006, and it is targeted up to the year 2031. So we are right now in the mid of 2025, and there is still a little scope for improvement wherever possible, and that's the reason why this is important. And it will also set the ball rolling for the next master urban development plan, with a plan which Buda will prepare. So, like Rajmata ji has already set the ball rolling again for some of the major issues. So, thank you, ma'am, for highlighting some of the issues, and I will be discussing those issues in a little more detail. So, rising temperatures leading to high energy demands is what everyone is experiencing. And then, of course, the city has experienced some very bad floods, but we also face the issue of urban flooding. Water availability is one of the major issues, and waste management and air pollutions are also the issues. So let us come to the first issue, that is the rising temperatures. Now you would be saying that we are talking about global warming, so temperatures are rising everywhere. Now this is where I would like to tell you that each one of us and each city is contributing to the global temperature rise, because urbanization has a very big role to play in the temperature rise. So whenever we change the surface, we change the albedo. Albedo is the ratio of the absorption and the reflection of the heat, sun, which is emitted by the sun, and that actually creates the urban heat island effect, and that is what we call the urban-rural divide. So most of us would experience that the rural areas are a little cooler as compared to urban areas, and within the city also, when we travel from one part to another, we experience the temperature difference. And that actually is what is the urban heat island effect, which we call. Now, most of us have been talking of the maximum temperatures or the global temperature rise, but I would like to say that the minimum temperature is rising at a much faster rate as compared to the maximum temperature. So while we are talking of restricting to 2 degrees or 1.5 degrees, the minimum temperature has actually come up by 7 to 8 degrees, which is a bigger concern, and that has actually squeezed the daily temperature range, or the difference between the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature, right? Now, whenever we change the land use pattern of the city, then we change not just the albedo of that region, but we also change the wind circulation patterns and the way the clouds move, and that actually is what is causing or adding to the urban heat island effects. And as I said, that this is squeezing the difference between the maximum and the minimum temperatures, what we call as the daily temperature range. Now, when the daily temperature range squeezes, then what happens is that by default, the energy consumption increases. So, ideally, in Vadodara or in Gujarat, we talk about cooling degree days, or days where we need some cooling devices to make us more comfortable, be it fans or water coolers or air conditioners. Most of us are talking about air conditioners, but even the lower middle class is now into air conditioners and some or the other cooling devices, which is obviously playing a role in our energy consumption. Now, when we consume higher energy, then again, this heat which we are removing from our houses or bedrooms or drawing rooms is again thrown back into the atmosphere. So that also contributes to the rising temperature. So it is like a vicious circle which is created, and therefore higher energy consumption. So higher the temperature, therefore again higher energy consumption, and that's how the cycle goes on and on. Now, so some of the solutions, rather most of the solutions which I'm going to show over here are known to all of us, but being a teacher, I have to and remind everyone that it is time for us to take serious action in this particular aspect. So the only way where we can control the temperatures is to increase the water bodies and the green cover. Now, increasing water bodies everywhere is not a very feasible idea. So there we can actually try to at least maintain the existing water bodies, but green cover, increasing the green cover is something which anyone and everyone can do anywhere and everywhere. So even if you are staying in apartments, there is no excuse. You can still have potted gardens and you can still have some greenery around you. Urban forest is one concept because in order to reduce the effect of temperature, we need carbon sequestration. And for that, trees or green cover is the best option. So urban forest is one of the best options. So we can create pockets which are dense urban plantations. In fact, Soklin has been the pioneer for the first Miyawaki project in Vadodara. So that is one concept where you can have, like sinks, carbon sinks, where you can absorb the green gases and therefore you can create some reduction in the temperature. That is the second option. And of course, we can try to use alternate sources of energy so that we reduce our reliability on the fossil fuels. So these are some very practical solutions which all of us know, but as I said that we really have to now play a larger role in coming to that particular solution. Next problem would be floods. But before that, I would like to show you how the climate change has impacted the city of Vadodara. So I have a very dedicated team of research students who have done extensive work for the city of Vadodara for climate, understanding temperature and precipitation changes. And we have established that the monsoon is shifting from the first week of June towards the last week of June, and it has entered into mid-October and beyond. So there is a shift in the monsoon, and not just a shift, the 1 day maximum rainfall has also increased. So I've given you some statistics over here where the maximum rainfall which has occurred in 1 day is much higher than the average rainfall of that month, and that is the day when actually the city experienced flood. So whenever there was this scenario, the city has definitely experienced flood over here. So in order to understand the effect of climate change, we actually tried to take all the parameters and put various permutations and combinations of those parameters and try to see what was the most effective or most impacting parameter, and it was the urbanization anomaly and the local temperature in combination with the global temperature. So this research article is easily available anywhere and you can approach me if you want. But emphasizing what I want to say is that one, the average rainfall pattern has changed, it has increased. Two, the temperatures definitely have increased. Three, the maximum rainfall which was occurring in 1 day, that has increased and the daily temperature range has squeezed. So the result is frequent floods. And I don't have to remind anyone. In fact, it was a nightmare. 2024 was a nightmare for the city of Vadodara. And almost all of us were impacted with that floods. But if you look at the frequency of the years in this century, you will realize that it is now almost like an 4-year or 5-year cycle which we are experiencing, and this duration is going to reduce. So we are going to have more frequent floods. So we have to be prepared for that. We will have to go for some mechanism where we can. We are not able to control floods because it is a natural event, but if we control our urbanization pattern and if we control our temperatures, then to a large extent, we will be controlling the way the rainfall occurs, the precipitation occurs, and therefore, that in fact will play a role in the floods. So again, we do not have very direct control, but we can indirectly control the floods. Now, the major issue for the city of Vadodara, even if it is not experiencing floods, is urban flooding. Now, let us understand the difference between natural floods and urban floods. So, natural floods, as I said, is something which is a natural calamity and we do not have complete control over it. But urban flooding is something which is happening because of inadequate infrastructure or improper stormwater drains design, and that is what is leading to waterlogging in various parts of the city, and that is what we call as urban flooding. So if your stormwater drain is not capable of carrying the discharge, it will let out the water on the streets in that area, and that is going to cause flooding in that area. That is what we call as urban flooding. Now, this urban flooding has a direct connection with the urbanization. So, I have tried to show you how the city of Vadodara has changed in the last 5 decades. So, the red part shows the construction, and we have almost covered the entire part of the city. So, when we go for urbanization, I have already shown you that we increase the temperatures, we create pockets of heat islands, and that actually changes the rainfall pattern. So I have shown you with one hydrograph over here that the rainfall which was occurring over a longer duration of time now occurs over a shorter duration of time, leading to floods in that particular area. Because you are going to get huge quantities of water in a very short duration, and that is what is going to cause the floods. Now, along with this, the intensities have also changed. The number of rainy days for the city of Vadodara have also reduced. So, we used to get scattered rainfall over a period of 4 months, but now we are getting that in smaller number of days. So, we experience heavy rain for a couple of days and then a long dry spell and again heavy rains for a couple of days. And that is what it's like, giving somebody to eat a big thali and then keeping that person hungry for a week. So that is how we are getting the rain, and that is why the infrastructure is going to fail, because the intensities itself have changed. So we would have to modify the intensity or the discharge carrying capacity of our existing stormwater drains if we have to prevent the urban flooding, right? Everywhere again in the old city area, it is not possible to modify. So we will have to create mechanism of diverting that water to some other place. That is where the interlinking of ponds and lakes comes into picture. The new areas which are going to get the new stormwater drains, those stormwater drains can be designed with the improved or the revised intensity so that they are capable of carrying the discharge. In order to reduce the water logging and to create the buffer of the ponds and lakes, we can construct recharge wells within the water bodies so that every time when the water is filled in that pond or the lake, it is put into the aquifer, into the groundwater, and we create more space for more water when it rains again. So, in short, we need to do proper stormwater management. If that is done, then the problem of urban flooding is very much within our control, because that is, as I said, a man-made disaster. It is not a natural disaster. So if anything that is a man-made disaster obviously has a solution which can be done with the help of engineering. Then coming to the problem of water availability. So what is happening is that when we are having heavy rains occurring in a shorter duration of time, we don't have any option but to release the water from the Ajwa reservoir. Now this actually leads to wasting pure potable water or drinking water, because we do not have the capacity to store it when it comes in a large quantity, right? So that is where again these ponds, lakes, etc. will come into picture, where we can go for connecting of the ponds and lakes and then recharge that water. Of course, reduce, reuse, recycle is one of the options which I have shown, because that is the primary solution to water availability. Using treated water for many purposes is one of the solutions, and wherever possible, we should go for rainwater harvesting. So if you are not using the water for your individual house, you can recharge it into the aquifer, right? And as I told you that the ponds and lakes are the buffers for many problems, that is not just urban flooding, but also the water availability, because many of us, in the city are dependent on groundwater for the water supply. So when we go for rainwater harvesting or groundwater recharge or wetland conservation and the recharge wells within the water bodies, we are going to improve the quality as well as the quantity of the groundwater, and that actually will increase the availability of water for us, for the city of Vadodara. Waste management is one of the issue for any growing city, and Vadodara is no exception. So we have big tons of waste being deposited or being dumped at the dumping sites, and we know the solution, right? Waste segregation, waste management, reuse, reduce, rethink, refuse, refurbish. In short, try to manage it in the best possible way. And Indore has set an example for us already by doing this very efficient. So it has to start at the individual level, and that is how we can scale it up again. And again, in this particular solution also, Sokling has played a very important role, and we have adopted villages and tried to bring about awareness of this particular issue and promoted the segregation of waste. Any temperature rise is connected to air pollution along with the other causes. So we have vehicular, we have industrial, we have emissions from various sources, but this polluted air earlier used to get diffused, used to rise very quickly, which is now restricted or does not rise that quickly or does not diffuse that quickly because of both the urbanization as well as the rise in the temperature. So actually all these problems are interconnected, and the solution is the simplest solution, which we all know, is that we have to go green and we have to change the way we are thinking. We have to change the way we are living, and we have to bring about awareness starting from our own homes and then spreading it to the society. So each one of us has a role to play over here, and each one of us have to contribute. And I always say that the way we have moved in the climate change scenario is like we are now into the fifth gear in the forward direction. But if we have to reverse this cycle, then we have only one gear. So we will have to work very hard. We will have to work in multiple ways in order to, if not reverse, because reversing is something which is not going to be so easy, but at least restrict the impact of climate change. So with the limited time which I had, I thought I will just touch some of the subjects, and I will be happy to answer the questions at the end. But I am grateful to Habitat Forum, Kirti ji, Chetan ji, and Sokling for giving this opportunity. And the one of the research which I had shown is funded by Climate Change Department. So I will also acknowledge that. Thank you for your attention. I hope I have not overshooted on my time. I tried to stick to the time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mujumdar. This is very helpful. You identified the problems and also given solutions. I think that is equally important. And lastly, you said we need to change the way we do things in an integrated way. I think that is very relevant for all of us to hear. I would now invite Shri Santosh Tiwari, who is the Chief Accountant of Vadodara Municipal Corporation. I think Santosh ji has done wonders within the existing system. I think he is a seasoned accountant or a finance person. But what he has done is to do reforms in the municipal accounting system and then make Baroda issue two municipal bond, and the second bond was a green bond. So I think he has completely changed the way municipalities look at accounting and financing. And with this now he has become, I would call it, hero of municipal finance system in India. He goes to Lavasna teaching IS people how to do and improve municipal financing. He is invited by SEBI, invited by Ministry of Urban Development. So we are very fortunate as Baroda to have Santosh ji as our municipal accountant. And now I invite him to talk about green financing, urban financing. Thank you so much, Santosh.
Yeah, thank you, Chetan sir, Kirti sir, and bowing my heads to in front of our Rajmata ji, and with your permissions, I'm briefing about the various steps, various initiatives which Vadodara Municipal Corporation has taken in last few years. First of all, myself, Santosh Tiwari, I am working with Vadodara Municipal Corporation since 2000 and designated as Chief Accountant from 2011. So almost I have an experience of 25 years in municipal finance. Baroda, a very good city, a very good planned city, and a good legacy was transferred to us by Sir Maharaja Sayaji Rao Gaekwad ji, and I am privileged to be the part of this organization. And the building which you are saying behind me is the background of our Vadodara Municipal Corporation headquarter, which is also being given by our Gaekwad ji family. So this is a traditional mall also. You can see that here the municipal administration is there. Below there is a vegetable market, food market. We have flower market, we have fruit market. So earlier there was a concept whenever citizens were coming to the city to buy their daily needs, and if they have any problems or any any services related to municipal, all these services was available here and only. So this is the mall. The mall culture has been uh, grown in last 15-20 years, but we have since last so many years. Regarding Vadodara, the legacy which I say, so Vadodara is the first city to have the cooking gas pipeline it was inaugurated by Morarji Desai ji, and it is first in Asia. We have water supply system, tap water since 1892, and with the principle of gravity. Daily, our supply is around 550 MLD. We are supplying 173 LPCD of water. All underground ground drainage system is also in Baroda. It is since 1894. At present, the sewage is being generated 440 MLD, and all are being treated. Plus, further, we have the plant of 60 MLD for tertiary treatment also. After that, in solid waste management, 100% door to door coverage, plastic waste management facility, construction waste management facility, and we have also converted 8 lakhs metric ton legacy waste through bioremediation process. We have 150 city buses and 100 new electric buses would be coming up in the city for comprehensive coverage of healthcare services. Almost 4 urban community health center and 40 urban primary health center is there. 439 Anganwadis is there. So this is brief about the Vadodara Municipal Corporation, which is directly involved in the providing better civic amenities to the residents of Vadodara city. This was about the services and all things, but many reforms also has been done by VMC. When Chetan sir did talk about the municipal bond and its achievements, so it was not happened in the one day. The reforms was there since my previous bosses also. Since 1995, VMC adopted double entry accounting system. We adopted National Municipal Accounting System and accrual-based accounting system on 1st April 2007, and opening balance sheet was derived. At latest balance sheet, means up to 23-24 balance sheet is being finalized, published on our website. After that, we have also done the asset valuation. At present, VMC has the asset of around 12,000 crore. And again, if we do the asset valuation, we would be crossing more than 25-30,000. The asset valuation was done in 2007. So we have huge assets also. Our balance sheet size is around 15,000 crores. Our budget size is 6,200 crore with estimated capex of around 1,800 crore. Our property tax demand collection details are available on website. We have the self-assessment tax facility. For most important, Vadodara Municipal Corporation is a credit rated. It has been rated by CRISIL and India Rating, and we have been rated AA plus, which is the highest in the municipal category. So Vadodara Municipal Corporation is having have the rating of AA plus, equivalent to Ahmedabad, Mumbai, or Pune or Bangalore. Apart from that, our two bonds are listed, which Chetan ji said. First municipal bond, first was regular municipal bond, and second one was green municipal bond. So regarding this bond, I would like to say that in March 2022, we came up with the first municipal bond, and the situation was not appropriate at that time. COVID was there. We were recovering from COVID. Ukraine Russia war was going on, and there is also economic slowdown was there. But when we hit the market with our bond got in a good response. Actually, issue was subscribed by more than 10 times. Other cities like Pune or cities like Pimpri, Indore, where they were struggling to get the subscription of 3 to 4 times, Vadodara got the subscription of more than 10 times. And for 100 crore, our need was 100 crore, but we received the bid of 1,000 crore, more than 1,000 crore. And the final allotment was done at 7.15%, which is lowest coupon in the history of Indian municipal bond. Government of India came up with the sovereign green bond. That too also had gone up 7.29%. Apart from this, Government of India gave us the incentive of 13 crore, which and subventing that, VMC got this fund of 100 crore at 4.55%. So our efforts was applauded by Honorable PM also, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. Plus we came up with the case study also all about one that was released in US Embassy, Delhi, and that book is being circulated in almost 18 countries. Apart from that, Niti Aayog forwarded that book to 29 states and union territories chief secretary to follow the model of Vadodara Municipal Corporation. Continuing with that, in March 2024, we came up with the first green bond of 100 crore. Why green bond? It was generally all of the projects are of green in nature for urban local body. But here what we did special, we took the international certification. We followed the international market standards, and we took the certification from Climate Bond Initiative. So Vadodara Municipal Corporation's green bond is the Asia's first globally certified green bond. Only urban local body in Asia to get such certifications. And here we had appointed an independent verifier. We had drafted the green finance framework, which was first time by any urban local body in Asia has been drafted. And we have shown our commitments towards improvements, how we would be using these funds to improvement the environment. So this green bond, which was launched in March 2024, again we broke our own record, and we got subscription around 15 times. Means still we earlier bond was subscribed by more than 10 times. Now it was by 14.60 times, and we got the fund of at 7.90%. Again, we had received the incentive, and this brings our rate of interest to around below 6%. So in this, and by doing this green bond, we had shown our commitment, and after that, we would be also giving the impact reporting. Means we had mobilized the funds for STP, APS, and drainage network, and through independent verifier and post-issue compliances, we would be showing, we would be declaring with the independent auditor report that how this project has given impact to the environment. If this project was not done, then how it could have been harm to environment, and now how it could be improving. So this is about the bond. After that, recently we, in this year's budget, following the our legacy and all these things, we came up with the participatory budget, where we had opened a dedicated email where we invited suggestions from the citizens of Vadodara, what they want in budget, and I proudly say that within the span of 10 days we received around 2000 suggestions, and 835 residents has provided the suggestions, and in that almost 50% suggestions were already included in the budget, and 30% suggestions were something like that which requires further thinking and all this thing. Only 5 to 7% suggestion was of such, it's of a such nature that was not acceptable. Further, going ahead to promote public participation, Vadodara Municipal Corporation in future soon it would be coming up with the public issue. We would be mobilizing a fund of 200 crore from public issue, where the residents of Vadodara and all the in country people can participate in that, and it would be a blue bond. Green bond is the blue bond is the extension of green bond, where so here when citizens can invest in us and earn interest also. Not only interest, after that when they are investing in us, we are accountable to them. We would be providing our quarterly, half yearly, and yearly progress reports, utilizations, and all these things. So this makes our administration more transferable and accountable. Further, when we go for the bonds, our internal mechanism, internal system gets improved. We get lots of loopholes comes to our notice. We try to improve. One thing I would like to highlight, that when we were not preparing the bonds, means in 2019, my balance sheet was finalized up to 2014, and now last year's balance sheet is being published and finalized, and within the span of 1.5 years we had finalized the balance sheet of 6 years and got it certified by independent chartered accountant also. And appreciating our efforts, Institute of Chartered Accountants, ICAI, has given the award for our balance sheet and 21-22 annual report. It is the Vadodara is the first urban local body in India to receive such kind of appreciations from Institute of Chartered Accountants also. Honorable PM also appreciated our efforts in June 22, 18 June 22, when he came in the Baroda. Almost 4-5 lakhs people were there in that gathering, and 21,000 crore project was supposed to be inaugurated. But here he specially mentioned the achievements of 100 crore bond, which VMC has achieved its success. So all these things are the mechanism and innovative financing is that. Again, the Vadodara model is being followed by many cities. At present, 7 cities has filed for mobilizing the funds through bonds: Agra, Chennai, Pimpri, Varanasi, Prayagraj, and Surat, and all this thing. So this market is now emerging. Now when here we are here for environment and all these things, so we are seeing the heat waves and all this thing. So importance of green finance is increasing. Why importance it's increasing? Because green finance, when we talk about climate financing or green finance, we can see that the Sanskriti madam has already informed that how climate is impacting our life. The whole month's rainfall we are getting within a one day. Urban flooding is the what madam explained very well. We are doing many other initiatives for improving environment qualities. We are preparing the footpaths, roads. Apart from that, gardens, urban forest, electric buses. In last 2 years we have created almost 100 urban forests. Apart from that, recent activity which is known Vishwamitri rehabilitation, which is the project, mega scale project is going on. So lots of efforts are being done. And apart from that, reporting also would be done. So it is not just that VMC is mobilizing the money. VMC is utilizing it in efficient manner, and also we are disclosing its impact to the citizens. So this is from my side. I would be happy to answer. Thank you, Kirti sir, Chetan sir, Rajmata ji, and Soklin and INHAF team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Santoshji. It's so happy to see that Baroda Municipal Corporation has introduced so many urban finance reforms, and and the whole country, many cities are looking forward to BMC for its initiatives. Now I invite Professor Saswat Bandopadhyay. He is Professor of Urban Planning in CEPT Ahmedabad. He is also Project Director of CEPT Research and Development Foundation. He has experience of over 25 years in urban sector in the whole of South Asia. He has spearheaded many climate and spatial planning related research work and supported sustainable urban development and smart cities. He is also a member of Keshav Verma committee, which is developing a new strategy for urban sector in country as well as for the Gujarat state. So I'm very happy to invite Saswat to make his presentation on um, urban environmental best practices. Saswat, you can take this.
Yeah, thank you and good evening, Chetan bhai, Kirti bhai. My sincere regards to Rajmata and all the members of Soklin. I hope my screen is visible, Chetan bhai.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks very much for inviting and organizing such a very meaningful conversation of some of the very challenging issues in our habitat. My few slides that I'm going to talk about is what are the kind of challenges we are seeing in our cities. And more importantly, as suggested by Chetan bhai, that I should highlight more responses, because, how our cities globally or locally trying to respond. And in this response, what are the kind of possible tools and partnerships that are emerging? I need to highlight. So next 5-7 minutes that I have been given, I'll just want to try to take you through. First is, we all know that we are urbanizing, and Gujarat is on the forefront of this urbanization. And if some of you look at the kind of projected data of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, this Gujarat would be almost 2/3 urbanized in next 15 to 20 years time. But what is also happening is, like, if some of you are watching more geospatially, you see an immense amount of changes that are happening. One is that earlier form of urbanization, that you have a settlement and then there is a boundary, that is rapidly changing and becoming fuzzy. And you see a large, long corridor which are emerging, and much of this growth happening beyond this, so-called planning boundary. And through geospatial data, one can estimate the number of, the changes. And through our estimate, with certain limitation, we estimate about every second year, Gujarat is adding almost a kind of a town of, every third year, almost the size of Baroda. And when this happens, the one challenge is, when you say what is urbanizing and what are the urbanization challenge, one key challenge that we see is that, changing of the landscape. And this changing of the landscape, particularly main in the main city as well as peripheral area, has a profound impact in terms of hydrology and then local climatology in this process. And you get to see this kind of situation that comes in very often to our newspaper, and those of you in Baroda already have experienced it last year in a massive form. The other elephant in the room is that our climatic trajectory, that as all of you know about it, that our climate discourses are linked to the 1850 period. And with the increase of GHG and the carbon, we are experiencing certain amount of global warming, and it should be around 1.3 degrees Celsius now in IPCC assessment report 7. And we are now negotiating a future which is increasingly uncertain. If because earlier assessment and assumptions were there that by end of this century, probably we will be able to be within 1.5 degrees, which looks pretty uncertain. So probably we are now negotiating between 2 to 3 degrees, and within plus 1.3, we are seeing a lot of catastrophic consequences, heat stress, cities, changing in the temperature. We are just mapping some of the climatic risk across the Indian cities and seeing it's not only, flood or drought, the cities are in the forefront of multiple climatic shocks and stresses. One of the major challenge in Indian cities, because we're looking at our cities as an economic growth engine competing with China. But one of the challenge in our cities is we have the highest amount of heat exposed labor. The kind of labor economic activity, whether it is construction, outdoor activities, and so the amount of heat exposed labor in our cities, and cities are pegged to be contributing 2/3 to 3/4 our future economy. So cities are at the center of this challenge. Besides that, what has been said about pollution and other thing. The other issue is about, as previous speakers have already talked about, that for some reason or the other, our per capita green spaces are one of the lowest across. If you look at some of the other, except for some planned cities like Chandigarh and Gandhinagar, etc. So whenever we look at it, how global cities have been trying to respond to, emerging the shocks and stresses, increasing heat, flood, etc. So one major response has been in the increase in the green cover, and this green cover is not what happens in our cities on a 5th June that you go and plant some trees. These are also, you go in a systematic way from the planning regulation, changing in the building bylaws, changing in the local plan, because in our cities, the entire land is controlled through statutory planning processes. And that's the opportunity most cities across the world. For example, those of you visiting Singapore, 20 years ago, Singapore's total green percentage was less than 30%. Today, that city is, almost reaching 60% in spite of very high land prices, real estate prices, because it's a 800 square kilometer, sea bound, etc., etc. So that's one, that our response is that we have to, come out of those token plantation here and there and go for, more systemic way. The second is also managing the microclimate through detention, retention, and recharge of some of the storm runoff. This similarly, we are also seeing, based on the changing climate, changing rainfall intensity, our cities are witnessing 3 typical type of flooding. One is actually, the which is we call pluvial flooding, which is sudden cloudburst in your city. Then there is a riverine flooding, and there is which is coastal flooding. Cities like Surat can have all 3 floods together, or cities like Cochin and Chennai. And so we are actually on the forefront. Now, if this happens, there is a serious implication on safety, security, and economic stability in our city. And so we have to really look at this. Earlier, once in a while flood happened, we took a rainy day holiday. Things are becoming thing of past, and it is really impacting on our safety and security and economic visioning of the country. And if you look at the how other cities globally, responding to this heat and flood, one major, there are three major pillars. One is, of course, your engineering intervention. You build more stormwater drain, you take the water out. Like Tokyo and Singapore, they're building stormwater, storage underground. There are also management intervention. You clean up the, channel, etc. But globally, cities are actually moving towards creating more sponges, protecting the floodplain, use land use zoning, planning regulation, do something like cloudburst street. And since I come from the urban planning background, I will take you through more about the cases on the right side. See, this is one of the major management challenge. If it rains, you get situation like this that clogs the drain downstream, and then you get more and more localized flooding. So one thing which has come out globally when it rains. So first is within your building boundary, plot area, whatever you can hold it. The next level, which happens, is our streets. Fortunately, Government of India has now come up with something called Cloudburst Street Guideline, which is taken from largely taken off from Copenhagen Cloudburst Street Guideline, because streets too act as a sponge. And this is a great opportunity how our streets, because the moment the water coming out of your plot and building, it hits the street, and the streets become a major stormwater carrier. And so, earlier, those of you studied civil engineering, we were taught about engineering to create a concrete drain. Today, those engineerings are shifting from gray engineering to blue and green engineering, because you have to take the power of nature-based solution in holding the water and taking away, the speed of the water so that it doesn't flood the city in this manner. This is Delhi Ring Road. The entire road was covered. Now these are what we're calling sponge and cloudburst street. You create the sinks along with the gray areas, and stormwater rain takes up. So a lot of alignment, realignment, the way we have looked at our cities are required. Along with, as Mr. Tiwari was talking about green finance, we need to invest a lot about green engineering, because this is how you took, like, for example, this is a river in Singapore. Earlier in 60s and 70s, those of you studied in USA, everything was concrete. Whenever is a river, you do it concrete so that you can go do bicycling, etc., etc. With the changing behavior of the hydrology, now most of the cities are deconcretizing their river. Because as you know, that concrete behaves very, very badly when there is a rainfall, it forms eddies, etc., etc. Now, same river, now you can see in the below screen that it has been deconcretized. And this is many cities globally are actually naturalizing their river courses. Some countries call it as making room for the river, but it's better hydrological behavior that you can anticipate. Some of you are interested, probably all of you know about it, called ABC of Singapore, called Active, Clean, Beautiful Program of Singapore. This is in Calcutta. So the earlier, all water bodies were either concretized or pitched with the brick. Now they are naturalizing with the local jute material, local nature material, just because of this material have a better behavior when the high flood or high velocity flood comes in. I'll stop my the presentation with a very interesting development that have taken place in Chennai. Like what you had in Baroda in 2024, Chennai had successive flooding. And this city is a very unique case where it's in summer, it cries for water almost close to the 0 day or 0 hour. And in monsoon, it floods, and it floods twice. It gets to two different time period monsoon. And it was such an interesting city, when Britishers were planning, they were actually upside of Chennai, there's a place called Red Hills. So Britishers understood that this area has a huge ecological function. So they had respected that area as an ecological lungs of the city, because they have a good groundwater recharge, good water sources. Then came master planners in 70s. They thought, oh, this is a vast land available. Let us go and build houses. As a result, Chennai today gets not only red hills, also in there are like Palikarnai the marshy land. So both side, upstream and downstream, one side they have built new building houses, another side is a ring road and an IT corridor. Now Chennai has this double whammy of in summer crying for water and in monsoon crying for getting flooded. Even some of you have seen their aircrafts were flying, etc. Nonetheless, the city planners have come up with a very interesting concept, which is called Eco Wetland Sponge Park. It's about 16-acre park to absorb water. And you create that whenever there is a excess flooding or rainfall intensity, because we cannot predict. We are only looking at past trends, how the rainfall is behaving. So whenever there is, like I was in Bhubaneswar and you have a cloudburst of 16-inch rainfall. I mean, this has been unheard of kind of a rain in. So our engineering, predictable engineering is moving away from the gray infrastructure to more, blue and green infrastructure to take the nature's this thing. And this is a very interesting park. It was actually a wasteland. People are dumping as it happens. There was water hyacinths in between the buildings, etc., etc. So some enlightened planning authority took a charge, clean up this, and then they involve some architect, planner, botanist, landscape. As all of you know, this is a subject area where nature-based solution deals greatly with the landscape and hydrology, and it's actually a whole of discipline. It's not only engineering, not only architecture, not only planning. Then you have to come together to build a solution which is more appropriate, because earlier stormwater means it will go to the civil engineer, then green means go to the botanist or landscapist. Those days are probably over, and it's demanding a more, whole of discipline approach or all of discipline approaches. And this 16 acres wetland is created as a blue and green. It is also becoming very popular because, as you know, the Chennai's, weather and lack of recreation spaces except for the seaside. So this has become a kind of a place where, more recreation, water sponging, and during, groundwater recharge, as well as, during summer, it has become a place where people can go and, so these are the kind of solutions cities are, have to come together. It's a planning, designing, hydrology, there is, has to come together to provide an impact of this, because, we are at the early cycle of nature-based solution. We are very, like any other solution, we are very enthusiastic about these solutions, but we also have to see how much are they performing, what are they. So it needs a lot of scientific rigor in terms of groundwater recharge, because some of you know, because in early 2000, when, when we had a crisis in Gujarat, some of us went to study in Chennai to look at how are their rainfall. They had a rainwater harvesting proposals where actually we took it from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, that every 1500 square meter plot must have a rainwater recharging. Now, today we are just doing some evaluation. We finished in Ahmedabad and Surat. We realized most of those rainwater harvestings are not working. They have become defunct. And developers are actually, showing them just to get the building permission without any meaningful purpose. So we have to constantly look at, monitor, create a kind of, society, researcher, and, private sector framework. And this is my last slide, because, building sustainable cities or doing certain, trading uncertainty of climate shocks and stresses, we need a very strong partnership. And I was just giving this because a few months ago, I was in Pune in a similar environmental seminar, and where I saw the most of the speakers were blaming developers, for the whatever the wrong has happened to Pune city. But if you look at any Saturday, Sunday, maybe in Baroda, Ahmedabad, Surat, you look at all the newspaper article, advertisement that these developers give. What they say there is a green view, water view, lake view, hill view. So essentially, developers are, always embracing nature to actually promote their, their product, whatever the real estate product. And that tells us that, this battle is immense, Most of our cities are struggling to a great extent. I mean, some cities have like Ahmedabad, Baroda, Surat may be doing slightly better than other. But it's a battle we have to fight together, and we need to drive a strong partnerships across civil society, private sector, and the government. Because otherwise, you say, okay, I mean, this is, developers are polluting, we are the custodian. I think that barrier we have to slowly diminish and bring, together, because this is at the end of the day, the developer in Baroda has to live in Baroda with all the heat and climate and air pollution. So we have to drive this message, open our door, and create these kind of partnerships. And it comes, I just visited a very interesting concept called climatorium. This climatorium is in Copenhagen. It's a very interesting concept. It allows private, public, young researcher, young student, IT guys coming and developing a solution for the city. We have to open the door, because these are very uncertain climatic trajectory that we are entering. Those of you working in the climate science, analyzing rainfall data, temperature data, would know how erratic behavior that we are witnessing. So from a very rigid, planning mindset that, we'll predict and provide, do a stormwater, do a town planning scheme, those days are slowly going away. And we have to really, work together in tandem to create a lot of solution. And these solutions, as Kirti Bhai is saying, that, there is an urgency. It's almost we are entering in a code red zone, and we have to, start preparing ourselves faster. And I must thank again, once again, to Soklin, Chetan Bhai, all our Kirti Bhai, all colleagues here for inviting me, and thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Saswat. That was very, very enriching experience you talked about. And your last words, that private sector, public sector, and community, all three PPPP has to work together for climate change, and we are already behind schedule. I think this is very well understood, and I really appreciate your inputs for our webinar. Now I invite uh, Kavitha B V, Additional Director, Central Pollution Control Board, Regional Directorate, Vadodara. She is an accomplished environmental engineer. She is in charge of environmental governance and regulations in Gujarat and some of the areas around Gujarat state, including Daman, Diu, and Dadar Haveli. She has 15 years of experience in working in environmental engineering and other aspects. And at this particular webinar, we have invited her to speak on urban air pollution management. Kavitha ji.
Thank you, Professor Chetan. I take this opportunity to thank So Clean and Habitat Forum for giving this opportunity to share my thoughts about this, or my experience about this air pollution issues and the solutions to it, which we have already been practicing. So, shall I share my presentation from here?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Can you able to see my presentation?
Not yet, not yet. You have to, I think.
You have to zoom.
Yeah, can Chitrakshi can share my presentation? I think she's
Yes,
happy.
ma'am, I'll share it for you.
Yeah, can you do slideshow? Yeah. Thank you, Chitrakshi.
Thank you, Chitrakshi. Yes, I've been asked to talk about the urban air quality, specifically on the urban air quality pollution and what are all the issues, challenges, and the solutions to it. So to start with, already the other speakers, Dr. Majumdar and Professor Bandopadhyay already has touched upon this subject of this air pollution, and they have even mentioned many of the solutions and the challenges and the sources as well. But let me just go through this. I'm going to talk about the major sources of air pollution on a whole for the urban area and what are all the solutions which we can come up with. And in the end, I'm going to touch upon the National Clean Air Program, which has been launched by Government of India, for which the Vadodara is also one of the cities where this NCAP program has been implemented. To start with, the major, as you all know, the major sources of air pollution in urban area is the vehicular emission, that is exhaust fumes from the vehicles. And when these vehicles are plying on the road, there will be the resuspension of the road dust, which has been captured as the major source of air pollution in all the urban areas. Fuel adulteration, because people are using the adulterated fuel, which will again cause the issues of air pollution. When it comes to industrial pollution, because all the industries are having all the urban areas, the cities are having industries located in and around the cities, because initially the industries were located within the outside the city. The cities are getting expanded, so ultimately the industries are coming inside the city limits. So the environmental issues like they are, even these industries, the manufacturing industries are emitting few gaseous and the pollutant and the particulate matters also. And then the construction activities is becoming a major issue these days in the urban area, as the fugitive emission from the construction sites, specifically the particulate matter, the wind blow dust from the bare soil while they are doing the excavation, when they're storing the construction material, improper disposal of construction and demolition waste. It has become one of the major issues in all the cities and the towns, as people are not taking it as a serious issue. They are disposing this C&D waste anywhere and whatever the way they want to. Because of this, there is a resuspension of this. Pollutants will be there, which will contribute to the air pollution. And then improper management of waste management, that is particularly the open burning of waste. So we can see in cities, towns, everywhere, people are burning the waste. They are not aware about how to go about it, because they don't segregate it. They will just put it in one place and they'll start burning the waste. And since they are not segregating it, all the waste, the wet waste, dry waste, plastic waste, everything is going and ending up in the landfill sites of the municipal corporations. And thereby, since it is not segregated, all this wet waste is generating these gases, like air polluting gases like methane. And when during the summer season, and if there is any chances of, like the fire, it comes with the contact with the fire, then there will be fires in the small fires in the landfill sites, which will also contribute to this air pollution of the cities. So can we have the next slide, please? Yes. What are all the opportunities? So broadly, we are going to discuss how we can improve this air quality in the urban areas. So technological advancements in air pollution monitoring and control can be helpful in improvising the air quality. Whenever we are discussing about the air quality issues, first we need to quantify what is exactly the how much air pollutions or the pollutants are present in the environment. For this, we need to have a very robust, very expandable or coverage of the air quality monitoring networks. And already we are having this manual monitoring stations, so we need to install these continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations in the cities, and then we can even have the low-cost sensors, which cannot be giving actual data, but it can give you the trend of the air quality. So having this good network will give us the it will help us to quantify the air pollution concentrations in the city, and it will even give us the hotspots, and then it will indicate the sources of air pollution. So thereby we can address those issues, and then we can, after addressing the issues, we can go for like air purifiers in the indoor uses, and then we can have this install these smog towers like it has been installed in this Delhi NCR areas. So we can go for such type of a new technology advancement air quality controlling devices. And then we discussed about this vehicular pollution that can be sorted out by having retrofitting the air quality control devices with the vehicles. And then for industrial emissions, we should go for, already it is there, industrial emissions, we should have a better quality of air pollution control devices we implemented, and they should come up with, the industry should also come up with the new technologies where they will be reducing the pollution. And then having the data, having the episodes, having the evidences, we can use this if the AI, the artificial intelligence, and then we can come up with the, we can identify the hotspots, we can come up with the air quality trends, which can help us to give the information to the public, so that what they are supposed to do during such type of incidents, like it has been given in the Delhi NCR areas during the winter time. And then having such type of a data, analyzed data, we can optimize the traffic flow and reduce the emission. And then we have, next slide, please. The policy intervention. Whenever we come up with anything, then we should have a very strong policy intervention so that we can control the issues or control the problems. So strengthening the policies such as stricter parking instructions, restrictions in congested areas, promoting the public transport through improved infrastructure, giving the good roads, and then giving coming up with the metros and having a good public transport system, buses, inter cities transport system will also help us to combat this air pollution. And then intensifying the people who are going for the cleaner, who are adopting the cleaner fuel, that is electric vehicles and then CNG vehicles. We need to intensify them, and then there should be infrastructure development should be there for non-motorized transports like cycling, by providing the cycling tracks and the walking paths we should give. Adopting the airshed approach, we should not think about the boundary-wise air pollution, because air pollution is a geographical, it is spread across the regions. So we need to work in such a way that we should get, we will not be thinking that, okay, this is my criteria, this is my district, I'll be restricting only to this. It should not be like that. It should be, we will be discussing with everybody, and it should be like a pan-India wise solutions we need to come up with. Next slide, please. Yes. Already we talk about this potential for sustainable urban planning and green infrastructure. We already talked about having the public transportations and such things, and creating the pedestrian friendly infrastructures also we have discussed, and providing the plantations, coming up with the parks and the vertical gardens, and then implementing the green buildings so that we can have the cleaner urban environment. So all these things we already know and we have been practicing, and there is a more scope for practicing or improving it further. Next slide, please. This particular slide, I have put this other general measures. So we were talking in general about this urban, the other cities, all the cities in India. And these particular general measures I have noted down, or I have just presenting it with respect to the city of Baroda. So Baroda, the main source of air pollution is basically from the transportation, from the vehicular emissions, and the resuspension of the dust from the roads. And there is a problem with non-management of or not able to segregate the waste, or not able to manage the municipal solid waste. And then burning of the waste, which is actually everywhere in all the cities are there. So how we can combat this, particularly these things which we got to know when the source apportionment study for this city was carried out. So basically what we can do is to control this resuspension of the road dust, we have to go for the mechanical sweepers with the sprinklers, because whenever the people are doing this manual sweeping, there is a resuspension of the road dust. When you go for the mechanical sweepers, there are sweepers which are having this, they will suck there's a suction mechanical sweeper which will suck the particles, and then having the sprinklers sprinkling the water will suppress the dust, that road dust also. And then management of construction and demolition waste. Basically, having Baroda in VMC, particularly Vadodara Municipal Corporation, in association with WRA India, they have done the studies of this construction dust management in Baroda city, and they have come up with the regulation guidelines which they have published also. So the people who are managing the people who are like CREDAI, the builder association, they should even VMC has given them the trainings regarding this, how to manage the construction dust. So that they need to manage. They should cover whenever the excavation is taking place, and then whenever the construction is going on, the green sheet should be covered there, and then sprinkling of the sprinkling in the construction area should be carried out regularly, and the waste vehicles which are carrying the construction or the demolition construction material, C&D, construction demolition waste, they should be properly in a closed container. It should be there. Likewise, they have given this, so that need to be addressed. And construction and demolition waste is a major issue because people are not ready to spend money to send it to the hand it over to the VMC or the corporation, because it takes money and they are not even aware about it. But VMC is having the construction and demolition waste managed processing unit where they are using it and they are processing and they're making some other construction materials. So that people has to follow it. And the segregation of municipal solid waste, without segregating at the source, it will directly and indirectly, both the way, will impact the air quality of the air in the city. That need to be taken care by. And the main thing is, it's a small but important step, is like we observe every day there is a burning of the waste in an open area. That need to be controlled, it need to be managed, and for this we need to give a public awareness. That is very much important. Next slide, please. Yes. I was talking about this when we are talking about all these things that there are do's and don'ts, all these things we are discussing, and it is already there in the policies, which has been few have been followed by the people, and a few are not being followed by also. But now to improve the air quality of the urban cities, the National Clean Air Program was launched by Government of India in the year 2017 for 131 cities. So these cities were identified based on the non-attainment cities which were having the air pollution issues, particularly the particulate matter concentration more than the prescribed standards, national air quality ambient standards, and other cities which were having these million plus cities, the cities having more than 10 lakh population. So in these cities, it was implemented. The main agenda of this National Clean Air Program is that specifically the cities has to reduce the particulate matter concentration, particularly PM10 concentration, by 20 to 30% by 2025, 26. And later on, it was revised that the reduction has to be 40%. For Baroda, a lot of activities has been taking place. For this, cities have captured the action plans, action points, what all the action points they are supposed to do it, and they have been implementing it. The action plan points will be managing the MSW, managing the C&D waste, managing, shifting towards the cleaner fuels in the industries, in the vehicles. Those are all the main action points. And next slide, please. Yeah. To facilitate the implementation of this NCAP program, the government has even given some type of financial allocations. Though it is, I was just listening to the financial issues of like how much is the valuation of the VMC, but whatever the funds have been given is that are very little, but yes, they are promoting it. They are motivating the urban local bodies to even concentrate on improvisation of the air quality, which was actually not their mandate. Their mandate was like cleanliness and providing the water, taking care of the wastewater, managing the solid waste, all those things. But they had to encourage them. It has been done. So now with the financial support and with the constant action plan implementation, Vadodara has already till last year they have already reduced the PM concentration by 28%. Next slide, please. Yes, when we talk about all these urban air pollution issues, and if you want to come up with some solutions, so basically it depends on the involvement of the stakeholders, particularly for the air quality improvement of any city. So there should be a proper interaction and effort should be there from all the stakeholders for this particularly NCAP program for betterment of, for improvising the air quality of the city. All these, the government organizations, various government organizations, industries, citizens, they are the major stakeholders. In the government organization, you can see the municipal corporation, VMC, they will be implementing a lot of things like making the good roads, wall-to-wall carpeting of the roads so that there is no dust generation. And they are managing the MSW things, and they are making this, they're controlling the waste burning, they are doing the capacity building, they are constructing the flyovers, there is so that there is no congestion of traffic is there. All these things they have been doing, and they are the nodal officers for that. Then Gujarat Pollution Control Board, they have been doing the major work in controlling the industrial pollution which are placed or which are located in and around the city. Also, they are promoting these industries to go to the cleaner fuel from using the coal. They are asking them to go to the PNG, natural gas. And then we have this regional transport office. These people are controlling this pollutions of this vehicular pollution, mainly by giving the PU certificates, checking it whether they are maintained properly, or the vehicle is like it has completed 15 years, we need to abandon it. All those things have been taken care by the RTO. Then traffic police, their main thing is that they will be controlling the traffic, especially they'll be controlling the traffic in the junctions, in the if there is any encroachment by the vendors who are occupying the roads in the turnings or near the major locations, they'll be asking them to removing them, and all those stuff has been taken care by them. The district supply office is taking care of this clean fuel. They are providing these LPG connections to the people so that the cleaner fuel will be used. Also, they are keeping the check on the adulterated fuels, if anybody is using it, that they are been taking. And industries, of course, they have to come up with the new technologies where they are not polluting more, and they have to have a better air pollution control devices installed, and thereby they will be there will be not much pollution is released into the atmosphere. And ultimately, the citizens and the civil society organizations like So Clean, they are doing a lot of mass awareness programs. We are educating the people. So all these things. So it is very much important to have involving all the stakeholders to achieve the cleaner air in Vadodara. So with that, I'll open the forum if there is any questions.
Thank you, Kavitha ji. It was very comprehensive, and thank you for mentioning this National Clean Air Pollution Control Program, particularly which is relevant to Baroda. I will now invite Narendra Bhai Kabra. He is a very successful pan-India industrialist. He has keen interest in social issues, especially tribal children. I think his work has been appreciated even by the Prime Minister of India. And but we have invited him to speak about initiatives which his own housing society has taken in Baroda, and we felt that something which is happening on ground, we should hear about it from Narendra Kabra ji. So the floor is yours, Kabra ji. Chitrangi, you have to show his, you have to upload his, Chitrakshi, you have to upload his presentation.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Narendra bhai, you have to unmute. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, everybody, and thankful to Professor Chetan and the So Clean Society for inviting me for this. In fact, I am the last speaker, so luckily I have an opportunity to talk about practicals. So theory has gone. So whatever, so line of presentation will be 1 minute. Is it not audible right now?
Yes, it's audible.
Why it is there? My God.
Can we go to the, should we, you want to explain this slide or we go to
No,
the next
there is
slide?
no explanation. It is on the line of presentation.
Oh.
So you can go to the next slide.
Yeah, please go to the next slide. Yeah.
Yes. So it is about the society wherein we live, and Dr. Kavitha also stays in the same society. So it is a gated society in Gorwa. We have 369 flats, all amenities which one society can have, we have. And from the beginning, the residents thought of the sustainability. So we have all the things which we have been talking for last 1.5 hours. So next slide. This is just picture of Shangri-La, what we have. It is full of greenery. Please go back to the last slide, madam. Yes, so this is Shangri-La Society in Gorwa, full of greenery. Next slide. Yes, so we'll have the water management, wastewater treatment. We have our own sewage treatment plant. I think 1 or 2 society only in the Vadodara city have their own STP. And this treated water is used for toilet flushing, gardening, and 2 crore liters of water per year is reused, resulting in annual saving of, it is a meager amount, but it is 4.5 lakhs for a society is a big amount. Next. This is the picture of the water management which we have. The reactor is there and the full setup you can see. Next. Now the energy management. We have installed solar panels, and the size of the total kilowatt is 105 kilowatt. And we spent around 46.5 lakhs for having this solar panels in our society. And the payback is complete now in 4 years. The total which we generate from the solar panel takes care of our 50% of the total requirement of the society. Next. Yes, this is the energy management picture. We have the solar panels installed on all our 11 buildings in the society. Next. The waste management is the biggest thing which we do. We have a team of 11 ladies in the society. We call them eco warriors. They take care of all our, whoever is not falling in line with the system which the society has made, they come into picture. So we have a regular dry waste and kitchen waste, it is segregated. Then the waste collection staff comes to every house, every home, and they collect it separately. And we don't only separate for the sake of separation, it is disposed of also in two compartments of the VMC. One is your dry and another is solid waste. Next. This is the waste management, what we do. Yes. As I was telling, Eco Warriors Women's Group, it is formed in the society. So all recyclable plastic waste from the individual house is collected and it is given to EcoVision Environmental Resources LLP, and they send it to their plastic waste processing facility which they have in Surat. Next. So this is what the plastic waste is collected. Separately, it is sent in a tempo. It is collected by them and sent to the EcoVision. Next. We have, as we were talking about the separation of waste, we also have e-waste battery. You can see in the picture, we have different places to keep e-waste, batteries and glass. And this we sell to the glass kabadiwala. So they take it, and e-waste is taken by the NGOs who collect for the people who are doing your e-waste processing. Next. So we have a rainwater harvesting system, groundwater recharging with rainwater. So Professor Saswat was saying that a lot of societies, they or the promoters or the builders, they take this as just to take the permission. But we follow it religiously. Before rainy season, all our drains are cleaned. All our drains are cleaned so that there is no hindrance for water to flow to the rainwater discharge. We have 6 numbers of recharge well and with complete filtration system. And as I said, we already clean the drain, so total water goes into the recharging. Next. So apart from this, we are going for composting of waste and EV charging station also. These two things were not in our society, so we are going for this. And so thank you very much. Thanks to Habitat Forum and So Clean. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kabraji, because you are actually doing what is being discussed here, and I'm sure
Yes.
your presentation will inspire other residential societies in Baroda to follow at least some of those steps which you already taken. With this, I now want to invite Dr. Sanjay Pandit, who is Vice President of SOCLI, and he is a consultant physician with more than 42 years of experience. He is involved with a number of social and cultural and scientific organizations in Baroda. He is Vice President of SOCLI, and he's also past President of Rotary Club of Baroda Jawaharlal. So I thought he could sort of sum up and tell us some lessons learned. Sanjay ji, Dr. Sanjay Pandit.
Good evening, friends. Can you please Chitrakshi ji, I don't have any slideshow. I'm just speaking.
Okay, sir.
Can you just make my face visible? It's not so presentable, but all the same.
It's not that. It's not that.
Good, good. Am I seen and am I heard?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
are heard and seen, yeah, both.
Heard and seen both. Oh, very good. So, good evening, friends. It was a wonderful webinar. We have run short of time, so I won't go into any details of the whole process. Vadodara has the dubious distinction of being called the worst city in Gujarat and also the best city in Gujarat by the Chief Minister within a matter of few weeks. I don't know where we stand. I was born in Baroda and I've spent 70 years in Baroda, so I love Baroda. But definitely I wish that it could be made better. Today we have had such excellent presentations which analyzed all the issues facing the city of Vadodara and also suggesting all the treatment that is needed to make Vadodara resilient and vibrant. So for that, first of all, I thank Kirtiji and INHAF for inviting so clean to be partners in this webinar. Very successful, and wish we can have more such webinars. I would thank all the panelists who have really put in great efforts and a lot of time in preparing and presenting their work. Thanks to all the participants in the audience, those who have registered for the seminar. I wish that they go home and share this knowledge with their friends and also motivate them to join for such webinars in future, which will really benefit everyone. It is very difficult to bring about change, and it calls for the efforts of everyone, the government agencies, industry, the institutions, and the citizens. But the major chunk is from the government agencies. That is the main responsibility. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
So that has to be taken care of. And there, I've been very highly impressed by Santoshji's presentation. That usually we have the reluctance of the administration and the political leadership to engage with society and go forward. Usually the suggestions are a cacophony of all shrill voices of everyone except the scientific experts. So today it has been a very good opportunity for all the scientific experts to calmly present all their views. And Santoshji being present here was a great boon. And the other issue is always money. Money is always necessary for everything. Without money, nothing can happen. And I'm very happy that Santoshji has made it look very easy. That you have all the money in the world to do everything. So I think Baroda should not have any problem. Santoshji, I hope you accept the challenge.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, and I'm sure at Soclean, we will definitely be in touch with you to make Baroda a better place again. And regarding all these presentations, it's very difficult to summarize everything here. I request Chetan and our team at Soclean, maybe we can summarize all the presentations and then have a comprehensive document, integrating all the issues and the suggestions. So that can be then shared with authorities, shared with the stakeholders and others. It has been a wonderful presentation, a wonderful evening for us. And I thank all present over here. And we wish to have such interaction in the future also. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. We will, our Soclean team will sit together and
Yes.
put it together as one
Correct.
document. We'll do it and then also share it with INHAF and take their help. I now invite Kirti Shah to give his comments and suggestions.
Hi, Kirti ji.
He's there. He's there.
Sorry, I think
Yes.
I honestly do not want to kind of say much, except for three very quick things. One is this, that when Chetan and I started talking about this, and I think we're discussing the topic, I wasn't very keen on this environmental thing, and I'm very, very, very glad that Chetan convinced me that no, this is much more relevant, this is much more practical, this is something. So, and believe me, I've listened to everyone for last 2 hours very attentively, and it's been wonderfully experience of learning. That's number one. Number two is this, that, and I think I must congratulate both Chetan and whoever else was involved in designing and planning this, that the whole entire presentation was very balanced. It not only took a city, I think, across the board, and I think it uh, they were complementary. People who spoke, I think, strengthen each other. Even though they're talking about different topics and themes and highlighting different dimensions, they all gelled beautifully. And I think, that's a very special uh, 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 experience of this particular uh, uh, webinar. I also wanted to bring out something that Chetan had earlier warned me about or spoken to me about, is that emphasis of this entire webinar for the last 2 years has been on doing and what could be done. Uh, Not people usually spend huge amount of time, I think, describing what the problems are. And here, I think just about everyone, starting from municipal finance to 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 or everyone, I think, they talked about specific solutions that they are going through, including even a society of 375, I think, apartments. They didn't even mention about the problem. They all talked about what good they're doing. I think, be that, on rainwater harvesting or the solar season, solar plants or whatever. So that was something very, very special. I also thought that there was a very broad cross section that came in, and this broad section I found it very interesting. Like, for instance, we are doing some useful work in Chennai called Climate Chennai, doing a fairly interesting project in Chennai. And I know next thing I'm going to do is to call Dr. Sanskriti Mujumdar ji, say, look, can you help us? This is what doing, and these are the areas, of gap. And I'm going to talk to Sahab ji, sorry, I forget name, I think, who is looking after the municipal finance, because we did 3 webinars on municipal finance, and we are now putting together a white paper on municipal finance, and I'm going to go to him, not only, I think, to add to what we're doing, but essentially, I think, complement, what is happening. So, in a 2-hour meeting, and of course, I must thank Rajmata ji, who was very, very inspiring, despite her very brief presentation. So all in all, it was a very rich experience, and I'm very, very grateful to all who came. And of course, I'm very grateful to Chetan for helping this. As a matter of fact, this is a 2-event webinar series. And only yesterday or day before, Chetan wrote to me saying that he didn't want to go ahead immediately for the second one. And because he says, he wanted to buy time and he wants to do it in July. And I said, thank you very much. We'll do it in July. But the very fact that you're doing in July is wonderful, because this has been a very satisfying, very enriching experience. So thank you very much. As I said, that, there is so much that one could speak. It's already 8 o'clock and 10 minutes, and I think it's getting late. But I've learned a great deal, and I think it has been very rich experience in every conceivable way. Thank you very much. Chetan?
Thank you very much, every one of you. And I think it is very useful, and we'll try to put it together in form of a report. I will seek your help as and when required. Thank you each one.
But before we close, I think let me tell you, we have a second webinar tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
And that is on, I think I've sent, I think, an invite to everyone, but that is on the allocation in the on the state government budget for the urban sector. I was amazed. Out of 3,20,000 crore budget, 32,500 crores are for urban sector this year, almost 10%. And we are discussing what are, in the 25-year kind of perspective, how do you look at the budget? and the direction that the cities would go in the context of meeting a very complex urban challenge. So it is continuation of what is happening in Baroda. Only thing is it's a wider spectrum. We're looking at the entire state of Gujarat. So anyone who could join will be most welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Chitrakshi, very much. You know, Chitrakshi is, if Chitrakshi was not around, we would never be able to reach this 123. I'm sure we have stopped at about 30, 35. She is an amazing young girl. She's an architect, but does all kind of things and does it very well. So thank you. Thank you, Chitrakshi.
I also like to thank Soclean team who has put together, particularly
Of course.
Sanket has been with
Thank
us all the time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Narendra Kabra ji. Thanking Santosh ji, Stantik, Sanskriti ji. Thank you, Dr. Kavitha ji. Thank you very, very much, and everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. It was very enriching.
Most welcome.
Should we log out, sir?
Yes, sir.